Welcome to American Whiskey. As always, I'm your favorite host, beardless man in the whole entire world, Big Sturge. And to my left, as always, we've got Justice League.
How's it going, guys?
And to the far left, we've got Uncle Joey.
What's happening?
And to the even farther left, we've got the one and only Von Davis.
Good morning, everybody.
With Schoolhouse Farms. So sit back, relax. It's a little early. I say grab a drink, but you could grab a mimosa. I think that's appropriate. I think a mimosa is probably appropriate.
Or a Dr. Pepper.
Or just sip out the jar. Who cares?
Uh-oh.
Saturday morning.
Bloody
Most
Mary.
people don't work Saturday.
And this podcast is brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
No, don't say that. Now we're going to get kicked off.
Damn it.
Dumbass.
We'll get kicked off for other reasons.
For sure. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about some corn, sunflower seeds,
All
and all
kinds.
kinds of stuff.
All things Schoolhouse Farms.
Yes. So welcome back, guys. I know we haven't advertised it. We kind of made this last minute drive to, what town are we in?
Rockford.
Rockford, Ohio. We are here at Schoolhouse Farms with Von Davis in the middle of a very old, beautiful schoolhouse. Von, we appreciate you letting us come in here, kind of invade your space today and knock you off the fields for at least a little bit. I'm sure you have a lot of stuff that you need to get done, but you're willing to open it up and let us come in here and invade your space.
Like I told these guys earlier, we're pretty busy right now. It's kind of like a flock of woodpeckers in a petrified forest.
Yeehaw.
Never seen that one before, but I'm sure it'd be kind of crazy. Yeah. So, Von, I want to just kind of dig straight into this. I kind of want to figure out how you got here. I know we've talked about it before. This isn't something that you've done your whole career. I don't know if you want to start kind of growing up to where you're at now, but I think people would find your story pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was born about 10 miles away in Salina, Ohio, down Grand Lake, St. Mary's. Beautiful place. When I was 5, moved to Troy, Ohio, where I graduated from high school. But all during that time, my father farmed, my grandfather farmed, so I'd be out helping him on the weekends, when I could. And the whole career thing. Well, I started delivering newspapers when I was 10. I used that money to buy a lawnmower. And by the time I was in high school, I had a couple teachers working for me. And when I graduated from high school, I went to Vanderbilt and became a chemical engineer.
Okay, so I need to know,
Okay,
is that a joke? Or did you actually have teachers cutting the grass for you?
I actually did.
I was going to say,
that
because
is
for some
awesome.
reason, I don't think it's a joke. I absolutely see it.
Wow.
Miss Smith, you missed that. Go back over there with the weed eater.
Get done grading those papers and mow that yard.
I was a physics teacher too, but he couldn't cut the angle right.
Right. No, yeah. He didn't get the striping correct.
Go back with that roller.
Von's out there striping yards with a push mower.
Exactly.
I know.
Heck yeah.
Started young, modeled after the ballparks.
Yeah.
Anyway, I after Vanderbilt ended up in Mobile, Alabama, working for a Dutch company. Got married, moved to Pittsburgh, PA, worked on an island in the middle of the Ohio River. It was kind of like Alcatraz. Couldn't wait to leave. Ended up in Baton Rouge, working for ExxonMobil, got involved in nuclear magnetic resonance analyzers. And
So pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, just
very
simple
basic,
stuff.
very
Anthony,
basic
you can do
stuff.
that in your basement.
No, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you eat tacos, it comes naturally.
I couldn't even
Yep,
spell
yep,
Von.
there we
I couldn't even spell Von's name.
So,
That's true.
I didn't lie about that.
So then I ended up in the instrumentation world, lived in Oxford, England for a couple of years, then went back to New England, ended up in York, Maine, lived there for quite some time on the coast. And now I call Newmarket, New Hampshire, actual legal residence, but I'm here quite a bit at the farm. So back in 2014, and it changed it up and went back to some agricultural roots, I guess you could call it, and started in sunflowers for birdseed, and it's kind of gone from there.
So you said Maine. You lived in Maine. How
Indeed.
beautiful is Maine?
I think it's one of the 3 best states to visit in the United States: Alaska, Montana, and Maine.
So one of my dad's and I's dream is to go there and try to get a lobster.
They're definitely there.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely there.
Yeah, but that's
Is that
one
what
of
they're
our-
known for, Anthony?
It's the only thing they're known for, isn't it? What else are they known for?
Trees.
Trees and lobsters. So during that whole shift between, I guess, the nuclear world and telling your teacher how to cut grass and I mean, what was the ultimate reason that you would want? I mean, I'm just going to assume, those jobs financially are probably pretty good. And, when you go to farm, I mean, that's a risk, right? That's a big risk, I would assume.
Yeah.
So how are you able to kind of get from that point to being in the everyday 9-to-5 job to transitioning to doing this and being willing to take that leap of faith?
Well, my wife has a really good job, which certainly helps.
Yeah.
So it allows me to lose all kind of money doing this.
Okay. Got it. The wife's got your back. So, that sounds good.
We're definitely growing, and this year is going to be pretty good. So, it takes a while to get a small business off the ground. Amazon didn't make money for 10 years. So I think you have to realize that new ventures take time to kind of get their feet on the ground.
Right.
And it sounds like you guys have a lot of ideas. It sounds like between you, your wife, and your business partner that ideas just keep coming in and you just keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I get told no a lot because I have way more ideas than time in the day, or that other people have time in the day to actually follow through on them. So I think we're up to something like 65 different products that have an individual UPC code that you see kind of some of them out here on the table. But beyond that, we do even more. All the bulk grains that we do in distillation, for example, that's not included in that 65. And I think we're going to keep expanding what we offer into the distillation. And then ideally even in the brewing world, once we get malting, which I think is the next step.
Ohio does have a lot of breweries. So yeah, between distilling and brewing, it sounds like, and you branched out past Ohio. So absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing.
And I also think that no matter what the economy does in terms of up or down, people seem to drink, watch birds, and eat popcorn. So I think we're pretty well situated.
So you're hitting all three right
You've
there.
got them covered, Vaughn. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So anybody listening, you're able to hear, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I turned mine up a little bit ago and it was good.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll do a quick check again.
So what is some of the products that we have here that you've got on the table?
So we've got a couple different kinds of popcorn. If I can look around the table here, we've got one of our infused oils there. We do regular sunflower oil, then we do 6 infused oils, then we do about 6 varieties of roasted sunflower kernels and 5 different popcorn kernels. Those are all on our website. Beth does all of these up in the location at our mill building in New Hampshire, which is on the border of Maine and New Hampshire along the Salmon Falls River. It's actually a beautiful location. You look out back, it's absolutely gorgeous. But anything that we sell on the web or is kind of 5 pounds and under, that's all done up in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And they can get that on your website, you said?
Yes.
You can go to Facebook. He's got a lot of information there. Schoolhouse Farms 1862. I'm sure you can probably find a link and order all of his stuff from there.
Yeah. Okay, keep going there. I'm trying to make sure we're working here.
So we talked earlier. How many acres do you farm up here, Vaughn?
My dad has almost 600.
600.
Yep.
And how many different varieties of corn were you telling us you offer?
This year we grew 18 different varieties of corn. Yeah.
That is awesome. And out of that 18, most of that for the distilling world, all of it for the distilling world, or is it a little bit of does it go a little bit of all different places?
Yeah, almost all of that will be in the distillation world. Things range from Bloody Butcher to Ohio Blue to Silver King to Hickory King, Argentina Creole Orange, Oaxacan. People always mispronounce that.
Oaxacan.
I know a guy that
Oaxacan.
say it.
I'm not even going to try it.
That's the green corn. We got into 3 different kinds of Mexican-specific corn this year. I'm thinking about maybe doing tortillas for your
tacos.
Right? And a Peruvian Morado, which is a really deep purple. I had some of that down at the Bainbridge show in a little jar. It's a interesting, beautiful-looking corn. And then, of course, a lot of what we do ends up in chicken or turkey feed, ethanol plants, and that sort of thing. But we also offer Bloody Butcher grits and cornmeal, Ohio Blue grits and cornmeal, Dublin or Reed's No. 2 Dent as well. So
awesome.
Those are offered to the consumer.
And it sounds like you've got a lot of variety of products you can produce and distribute to the community.
Yeah, and everything you see on the table is started here. So we grow all of the raw material here before we process it.
Right. And I know we hit on it earlier. It's not even just the products that you're making here and selling here. You brought up a really cool fact. I think it was 2 years ago you did the Ohio outlay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of agritourism, every year we've had a sunflower festival. Usually it's the first weekend in August. It occurs during the 127 garage sale, if you've ever heard of that.
It's big. We drove through it.
Yeah, it's an event from Michigan, like to Alabama, and the people come from all over. It's very strange, the people that you actually meet that come through. You're like, you want that? Okay.
You drove all the way from here for that? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like trying to run this podcast at the same time. So what's going on is the cable that I forgot is a certain cable. This cable's not working, so we're recording with our microphones into the board, but people are hearing our voices through the computer. They can still hear us, though.
Oh, okay.
So it's just not as loud. So that'll be fixed later when I get home and can do that. So thanks for letting me know that, guys.
That 2 years ago, we did a hydrological map of Ohio. The world's largest hydrological map of Ohio. It was almost a 30-acre map that was out in the field. All the major rivers in Ohio, trails you could walk in there. I think it was something like 2 to 3 miles of trails if you walked all the rivers in and out and back. And we had signage all around and note where you were. We had a hayride back to where it started. In 2026, which will be the 250th anniversary in America, we have something special planned for across the road out there. So it'll be another map-based theme.
Yeah. World record breaking?
We'll see. I would hope so.
Okay.
I hope
It's
so.
definitely going to be something that if you've never been up here, you're going to want to come check it out.
You certainly are.
And I have a feeling something like this, as soon as you start it, it's going to start picking up a lot of attention.
I bet once it's going, you'll probably draw some national attention from this. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
I think the aerial views alone should be pretty cool, as they were with the Ohio map. And I think, kind of word of mouth, and it'll spread. So
Absolutely.
yeah, looking forward to that.
2026, look forward to it. And
It's not that far away.
No, it's not. And I can say this: I actually came up here for the Sunflower Festival, and it's a pretty cool little festival he's got up here. The Sunflower Maze was actually really neat. The sunflowers were beautiful, huge, and just the whole property as you're walking through, it's just a really cool. We've got some awesome pictures. The weather just happened to be that day. We got a little bit of rain that morning, but it still was a good day. It was a really neat festival. If you've never been to it, I definitely recommend you get up this way around that. You say first weekend in August. First weekend of August. You definitely should come check it out.
I think in 2026, we'll time it a little bit differently. We'll plant when it's optimal to plant everything, and then we'll just have to set the date based on, when everything's mature and looks good. So
Yes.
But I think being at its own event that year will be fine. I think just the draw of what we're going to do should be pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be neat. It's going to be exciting.
So, what is your day by day looking like? When you're getting up and getting stuff done?
Usually start pretty early in the morning. I like the mornings. I'm a morning person, not necessarily a night guy. So I like to start pretty early, reading. Every day I try to do a half hour of research on a topic I've never read about before. So, learn something new that way, keep my brain active. And going to go ahead and get started on the day. I do eat breakfast, by the way, not Pop-Tarts, but eggs, bacon, that sort of thing. And then you kind of make a list of what you think needs to get done that day, and you get about half of it done, and the next half goes on the list for the next day. So
how do you research what you're wanting to learn?
I just kind of pick random topics out of my brain. Really.
Okay.
Something just maybe you see, intrigues you run across, okay.
Like, Napoleon Bonaparte's brother. Let's learn about him today.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's random.
Totally random.
So, another podcast, Random Facts with Vaughn Davis.
I do have ADD, so I could just randomly.
You and
bring
Anthony
up
would get
thoughts.
along really well. He could bounce stuff off of you.
I just start thinking squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel.
Yeah, tree.
Yeah.
I have a funny story about that. We, which maybe I'll tell later. So,
American Whiskey After Dark.
yeah. You have to pay to listen to that.
yeah, Beth and I were visiting a customer, and this guy walked out, and he saw a jar that was like not quite right, and he moved it just a little bit, and his T-shirt was like squirrel. It's like
It fit him perfect.
That's awesome.
It did.
So when you say you're not a night guy, so what time do you try to wrap up things?
I'd like to be asleep by 10.
That's
Okay.
perfect. Yes.
Some good hours. Some good hours.
Well, most farmers, early, you got to get up, you don't have a lot of daylight right now. Well, actually, it don't matter anymore. Some of these bright ass lights I've seen on some of this equipment, man, they don't mess around anymore.
No, I think they call it stadium lighting.
Some of it is, yeah.
It could be pretty blinding, actually.
So what are you, let's talk about where you take your product personally.
Which one? Any of them?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
We were when I lived in York. There's a distillery in York called Wiggly Bridge Distillery. It's run by the Woods family, and Dave's been very helpful in feedback on our processing and getting our grain, in terms of the dry factor and the grind factor that they like. He's been very instrumental in our success in that particular industry in terms of just getting things right. And I truly appreciate that. And we've branched out from just standard yellow number 2 dent corn to, as you guys don't know, we've got quite a few different varieties of corn. Everybody always seems to want something unique. Ohio Blue, I think we're known for growing Ohio Blue. It's probably our biggest seller outside of yellow number 2 dent. And we've got into Bloody Butcher, a couple of the white varieties, orange, green, the Mexican corns I've talked about before, but really branched out because everybody seems to want something unique or they think they're going to make something unique that nobody else has. So I don't discourage that.
Right.
Obviously, a lot of people use the same stuff, but I think everybody has their own method of processing. And, we kind of provide like a grocery list of whatever you'd like. We aim to have that available.
You did come up with something pretty unique, and I know Chris Lewis hit on it. That was kind of your idea, the red, white, and blue. You and him kind of got together and talked about that. Well, that's a good product right there. That's a top notcher right there. You did good with that.
Yeah, thank you. He's coming back up next month, and he's going to be blending 2 different kinds of corn on another product. So you have to look forward to that.
Well, we love Chris, so we will definitely be looking forward to it. Chris, we'll be down there, so and be prepared.
Anytime he comes up with a new product, it's always like, oh man, I'm waiting for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of, he was
He's got
excited
a lot to offer.
Yeah, he was excited about the red, white, and blue. I know he was talking about it. I think the both of you were really hoping, he was hoping it could hit before 4th of July, but with the whole lovely state of Ohio and the way things work, it happened when it happened, but it didn't seem to hamper his sales. So it seems like it's doing well. That Copperas Mountain, it's tasty. I really enjoyed it. I think we all enjoy it. It's a good blend.
Yeah, we obviously hope it does well too, and keep supplying the corn for it.
Yeah.
So is that something, that blend there, just trial and error, or did you kind of other people's feedback with with what you've given them or what they've tried, or how did that kind of come about?
Well, we know he's had success with the blue with the Knock 'em Stiff moonshine, which is good.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people use the Bloody Butcher, and we just had this idea. I think we talked about it early this year in 2023 for July 4th coming up, and we just kind of are talking when he came up and said, how about a red, white, and blue? And we came up with Ohio Blue, Bloody Butcher, and Silver Kings.
Yeah.
That's what he made it work. So I just supply the grain. He really does all the effort. He does a great job down there.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful location.
Yeah,
That's what I love. Bainbridge is awesome.
It's a little hidden gem, man. It really is. I've told
It's interesting though, because people still come all around for it.
Yes.
I mean, when we went there, just on a random day, there were people, a couple from Columbus that just came there just to go there. So the traffic's still,
The day I was there, he was running Knock 'em Stiff. There was a couple that was down camping from New York or Michigan, but they were way up in Michigan. They were like from Detroit, and they came down here to camp. It was just, this area is big for camping. So, and that area where Bainbridge is a big camping area. So he probably does get a lot of, people wanting something to do in the area, and there aren't a lot of distilleries in that area. So it was probably a perfect little combination of his area, and his business is awesome. I mean, the honey, the moonshine. I mean, he's got so much to offer there. He really does.
He's got a nice little store.
Yeah, and he's trying to expand. So, Chris, we look forward to another trip. We really do.
So, Vaughn, when you talk about like supplying these different places, I mean, you're in how many different? Do you know?
Distilleries.
Yeah.
I think 5.
In progress.
Okay. For some reason we lost the internet. It came back though. We should still be
Yep.
come right back
We
on.
still look good.
Yeah. So what? I mean, if you could guess how many?
That'd be hard for me to do because
Okay.
some of that corn goes through other suppliers, and I don't really
Okay.
know where it ends
Okay.
up. I deal directly with 5 or 6.
Okay.
Hopefully, obviously, we want to expand that, but
Right. How are you? Are you able to keep up? I mean, are you
Yeah.
so as far as supply and demand goes? You're
yeah,
okay. That's cool. So anybody out there that has a distillery, we've got.
give us a shout.
He's got the merchandise.
He's got the
Just a
merchandise.
and he's got it to sell. So you want to reach out to Vaughn. Anything, boys, you wanted to add? I mean, any questions over there?
Man, it's just it's really cool to see, how far, just actually learning a little bit more about you. My man's got his piano
Yeah.
back here.
Oh my goodness!
I
thought I played.
Well, even just standing here, we've learned much about Vaughn just today, more than we've ever known.
Yeah,
And it just sounds
yeah.
like you've come a long way. And it's really,
Well, we said we could make the Vaughn Davis series for a podcast.
I think it should be called The Most Mysterious Farmer in Ohio or
Yeah.
something, because you've been on a lot of different sides. You've been in corporate world. Now you're on the farmer's end of it. And
Farm as a child.
and I brought that up earlier. Did you ever think when you were younger or when you first started the career path you were in, I mean, I guess maybe a lot of people that are in the farming family, eventually you maybe would go back to those roots. But, when you graduated from Vanderbilt and you went the direction, did you ever think all that technology and stuff that you learned would incorporate with farming the way it does today?
I think over time, more and more, I felt like that probably would be the case.
You could just see it coming.
Yeah. In terms of like chemical engineering, so you're talking about a chemical plant. You react things, it flows through pipes. Mm-hmm. You distribute it out to customers, whether it's on a rail or a truck. And if you think about a farm, your field's kind of your reactor. That's where it all happens, and you process it. We've put all the equipment together here in the barn or up at the mill in New Hampshire, and then you're distributing via truck. So it's almost kind of the same. The thought process to me is almost identical to the engineering world, the way I think about it. And you're bringing more and more technology into it. We talked about we're getting electric drives on the planter for next year. The GPS introduction has really kind of changed the world of, you can kind of sit there and surf the internet while you're tractor driving stuff.
Yeah.
But it's getting more complicated at the same time. And I think the other way it's helped is in terms of how we've put together the processing, how we clean grain, dry grain, mill it, package it, and get it out the door. So we're able to custom package a pallet. So if you want, when you're making a product, if you want to use this yellow corn first, then I'm going to use the rye, and then another yellow corn and rye, we could actually stack a pallet like that. So
That's cool.
You can bring it off in reverse order that way.
So that's awesome. So you can ultimately take your college background and what you've learned and bring that forward and use all the modern technology and use everything to basically make a better product.
Correct.
You could probably say from start to finish what you're producing now, you probably can say you see a big change in the quality, and then quality brings return customers and then word of mouth. So
Right.
ultimately you're just improving what you're doing here, step by step.
And I think one of the other things is I know a lot of people are like, your stuff's kind of expensive. Well, if you want to go to Rural King and buy your stuff, you can go to Rural King and buy your stuff. I'm not going to stop you, but
Right.
if you want stuff that's been clean, sorted on a gravity table, dried perfectly, milled perfectly,
Yeah, and it's just the way it is. Things cost, and it kind of reminds me. You hear people talk about like the food truck thing right now. Food trucks are very popular, but the first thing everybody talks about is how expensive they are. But at the same time, you're getting a much better quality food product off that food truck than you're getting in some of these restaurants. So to me, I have no issues. I have no problems with some of the food trucks, and it's probably you've got basically a gourmet product. So you get what you pay for. So people, that first time that you buy it, it may, man, do I really want to buy that? Then once you get it home and try it, well, you're a repeat customer.
Right.
And now it's something that, you will pay that little bit extra for because it's good. And I'll be honest, the popcorn that I picked up for you, from you, the Yellow Canary, my wife loved it. And, it's not like super expensive popcorn, but I'm sure it's not on the cheaper end of it either.
Right.
But you get what you pay for. It is delicious. So, I highly recommend you guys out there, please check out his website and give some of his products a try. I know what I've tried. I've had this sunflower seed oil and some of the popcorn, and it was all amazing. And you know, it's all about, you know, helping that local guy out, you know, keeping the local
Keeping the
guy
world
busy.
spinning.
Yeah. Keeping the world spinning, man. That's what it's all about.
Well, you talked about like people, food trucks and stuff can be expensive, but you look at the process that it's made and the quality that you're getting.
Yep.
You're really not comparing apples to apples. Like if you're comparing if you're comparing McDonald's cheeseburger to a food truck gourmet cheeseburger,
Yeah.
you're not getting the same thing.
No, that smash burger we had in Bainbridge, man. Shout out to that guy.
Money.
I'd smash that. Shout out to I'd smash that.
Oh yeah, that's what the truck was called. I'd smash that, and it was fucking.
And then we had
good.
Flip Daddies.
yeah, so we also had
Yeah.
Flip Daddies. They came over and they seen me. They're like, "Do you want to eat our biggest burger we have?" And I was like,
What are you trying to say?
"They're like, we'll give it to you for free." I'm like, "Yeah." And patties were that big. There was how many on there?
He had a double.
And it was this big. And I had to share it with my family because it was so big.
Well,
Dinner burger.
It was bad. It was crazy. But again, that quality of burger was so much different than you're gonna get for
Right, yeah.
$4 somewhere. So,
So you're kind of like a small batch farmer, you can kind of say. I mean,
quality wise is
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
And
I mean, I wouldn't say small, but
well, you know, small in the sense he grows a lot
Yeah,
of different
yeah,
varieties in smaller groups rather than one big farm with all the same types of corn.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah, keeping them all separated can sometimes be a challenge, but
Oh, no doubt.
we have a color sorter for that. It automatically splits stuff by color, so
So
that's out there too.
in the corn world, cross pollination, is that an issue?
Always, yeah, you should always be aware of that. Yeah, like we certainly couldn't say otherwise. That would be untruthful. So,
But could that be kind of cool though?
So has anything transpired from that?
if you want to do it on purpose, there's a method for, you know, if you want to cross pollinate. Just trying to think like a blue with the yellow to get green. There is a proper way to do that. You cut off the tassels on one of them and you let it cross pollinate. Then you got some seed. You have to grow it the next year to see what would actually happen. Now the other way is just kind of randomly let the pollen blow around every year. You might get blue kernels on a yellow, you know, on a white ear or something like that. I think I have an example somewhere in here, but that's not repeatable. So if you're trying to make a certain strain, that's not the way to do it.
So
that
it would be like the
sort of-
mystery shine.
that would just be like we used to have a popcorn called confetti, which was just a mix of all our popcorn, and we actually purposely made it. And Beth always laughs at me because I think it's a pain in the ass to do, but it was our biggest seller because it looked good. So anyway,
Well, anything unique and different is going to be a
Yep,
seller,
yep.
you know?
yeah. So I think we still have it. I don't even know. But yeah, so I saw like Tim Johnson.
Yep, I just saw that.
He sends pictures. He grew some random corn, ended up with some interesting stuff. So
Yeah, Tim just posted that the other day that he
Yeah.
grew it. Yeah, he has some crazy looking corn from a cross pollination.
right,
Yeah.
that you would be hard pressed to replicate that. If you were trying to actually come out with a new strain, you would need to do it a different way.
There's ways to go about to guarantee a cross pollination, and there's a hope to God, throw it up in the air kind of way
Right.
also. Yeah.
Right. So you could do a one-off thing, you know, on a year, and it would be unrepeatable.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
And I like to make sure the things are repeatable. What I do with the Bloody Butcher, or what I'm trying to do with that in the blue, is using the color sorter is keep steering it to a darker and darker color, so I can pick off the darker red kernels and then just plant those the next year and kind of see what happens.
Flavor, what's the
I don't know. I just think it
significance?
looks good.
So on the ear looks better as
Yeah.
like a real deep dark
Yeah.
red. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's easy on the eyes, which is appealing, and you're thinking that will help. Okay.
Yeah. Just make it a little more uniform. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Anything else, boys?
No.
Do you want to add? I mean, anything that you want to add about your product or that you
Talk
want people
about
to know?
anything, yeah.
absolutely.
I love what I do, and
Yeah,
I hope
that's-
that comes
I love
through.
that.
I'm very passionate about it, and I'm having so much fun.
I mean, you've been on us for 2 months to get up here. I mean,
Yeah,
you can tell the
He wants to
yeah.
share it. He wants
the
to show
pride, the
show
love.
yeah.
I mean, it's.
I think
it's
we've
been-
got something really good going on, and Beth's doing a fantastic job with the package stuff for the consumer side. And I love doing what I'm doing in the barn on the large scale,
Yeah.
and dealing with distilleries and other large customers in sunflower world too. I mean, we ship tons of birdseed out of here.
Shit.
That's crazy. Well,
That was our first initial product that we started with, because Beth said, "Hey, can you grow sunflowers?" And yeah, I think so. And then it's kind of grown from there. But we grow a lot of sunflowers and ship out a lot of birdseed, and that allowed us to get into now roasting sunflower kernels, we got a huller, so we take the shell off the outside. We have to separate the hulls from the kernels. That's a whole process that we do, and then we've got the oil now too. So we've taken sunflowers and branched out into all kind of different markets with that, and same with now the grain in terms of going to distilleries.
So I have a question that just hit me. I know one of the biggest questions I always ask because we normally go to like distilleries.
Sure.
And this is really cool because this is something pretty much completely. I just did an interview the other day with a music artist, and then today, we're seeing the person that's helping create the shine and the whiskeys and stuff.
Right.
But the one thing that I've noticed is a lot of times the distilleries, these small craft distilleries, have an issue with getting product on the shelves because of the government, what you have to do to get through. They really are limited where they can sell their product. I think when you open up a distillery, you get 3 or 5 stores that you can technically sell it in.
In Ohio, it's pretty,
It's horrible. They make it for, and I always say, alcohol, they make so much money off of it. Ohio does. I mean, if you sell a $20 jar, they're going to see a couple dollars of that. Why the state gets the rest and the federal government. Do you struggle with that too, or is that because it's not alcohol? I just didn't know because I know you're dealing with it technically.
The only way we would struggle with it is if they can't, sell their product, they no longer buy any product from us. That's how we would struggle with that. That hasn't been a problem so far. As we grow, as they grow, we're going to grow with them.
Okay. I just didn't know if the state's coming in looking, popping in randomly and.
No.
Okay.
I mean, growing grain's not a, sort of a regulated thing, if you will.
Okay. I was curious because every interview we do, it is a thing. You know what I mean? And
I'm sure it is in that side of the business.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've heard those from various, producers here in Ohio that in this state in particular is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to get large quick and then they or sort of get off your back.
And I think we're going to see all kinds of different things. I mean, they just passed issue 2. So I'm sure there's going to be farms of that. I'm curious how that'll be with the government. Anytime you have to, anything like that's regulated and taxed. And
with issue 2, I think the last thing you'd want to ever do is get into growing that at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I agree. I agree. I was just curious on how that is for you guys. It seems like it's not a headache. So, it's just more or less the people that are buying it. If they stop, then that's the issue. Okay. So that's awesome, man. And it's really good to hear that you've continued to grow. It sounds like every year you're continuing to grow, and that's been hard to do over the last few years for a lot of people. I mean, COVID really shut some stuff down and made things difficult.
Just got to keep at it. Got to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And going with the growth, is there anything new that's upcoming that you want to talk about or that you can talk about?
I think the path that I think we're going to take in terms of the distillation side would be more to get into the brewing side as well by starting to malt some of our products.
Very cool.
I think that would be next. That way we're not growing anything different, but we just start another, process in terms of malting.
And then you can get inside of some of them craft breweries and stuff like that.
Theoretically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them in Ohio, so that could be
I feel like that.
The other thing I'm thinking about doing is smoking, like a heirloom smoked corn.
Okay.
Get in a smokehouse, hickory or something like that. Smoke the corn, then mill it, and then offer it out to give it a different flavor.
That sounds
on a large scale. I know a lot of people do it, on small scale, and my way is the best way. But I kind of want to offer it to everybody, so they could make more of an industrial, larger size scale of that.
Make it more of an opportunity to be able to do it.
Right.
Sounds like you got a lot going on, man.
Oh man,
I have a lot of ideas. I have more ideas than I have time, but just gotta.
I can see that. I can definitely. I feel your ideas. Just when we've been here this morning, you've bounced a lot off us and told us a lot about just things that you've got going and potentials, and you've got an awesome thing going up here. And I think the way the moonshine and the distilleries and other things are growing, you're going to continue to grow right along with them because obviously you make a good product because lots of people are using it, and they wouldn't be using it if it wasn't a good product. So can definitely
Every
continue to
time-
do what you do.
You're one of the ones, man. We tag every
Yeah.
episode because your
Dude.
name is brought up every freaking time.
If you notice, your name gets tagged a lot in some of our interviews that we've done here
And
lately.
so
and
we've
they
just
all-
made it a goal to just continue to keep tagging your name, just because it's clear that you've marked your name on into this.
Yeah.
And it seems like in relatively short amount of time, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, you've definitely established and are growing. You can definitely see it, and it's awesome to have gotten to know you and kind of become have a relationship. And we're going to be right here with you and watching you grow, and hopefully coming up here for more interviews. And I know I'll be back for the festival. But I know we enjoyed it, so
Yeah, we'll
be
come up here for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah, these guys were busy. Actually, the weekend I came up, neither one of these guys could come up, so my lovely wife got drug up here. I'll tell you a funny story. We were like 5 minutes down the road, and it's an interesting drive from Springfield. Yep. You're a little all over the place, and we were just like 5-7 minutes down the road. And she looked at me and she said, "Where are you taking me?" Because it was kind of in the middle
And
of
then
nowhere.
he responded with,
I was like,
"If I tell you, I gotta kill you."
Don't worry about it. So, but she had a great time. It was a good day, and it's something that you guys should do. Check out the Sunflower Festival every year.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to come out and get away from what you're doing everyday life. I think you could even just drive past here and take a picture of the schoolhouse. I mean, it's pretty sweet. You've done an amazing job. It was the first thing that I saw when we got here. I think it's the coolest thing that I've seen since I've got here. So I think just coming out here and just seeing the area around, it's worth the drive by.
Oh,
in my
definitely
opinion.
is.
So, is that the only festival you do? Or are you guys planning any other kind of festivals, maybe based off of that? Seeing the
One a year is difficult enough to pull off. So
Yeah, no doubt. No
stick with
doubt.
one.
Well, American Whiskey will have to make an appearance.
We'll come up.
Oh, yeah.
Festival.
Absolutely. One year we had Lawrence was here, Doug Taylor was here.
Oh, really?
Tom was here.
Tom
Tom
Crum.
Crum.
No, Watson.
Oh.
They showed up. They had their tent out and stuff like that. So we did get some. They were here. It would be good to have even more at some point in time in the future. But I think, like I said, 2026 is. I think that's going to be huge.
Well, anything we can do to help make that big, Vaughn, we're right here with you and spread the word.
Yeah. So we appreciate you letting us come on here. Well, hopefully we can come, like I said, get back over here and definitely during like the process, like, the different seasons and kind of seeing what it looks like. You're going to get a different look every part of the way here. I mean,
Absolutely, you will.
From planting to there's different processes, and I don't know if they're called whatever, but I'd love to get out here and get
the
us and set up outside one time where
when it's warmer.
it was a little nippy out.
A little frosty this morning.
I was about to say
It was a
today.
little nippy.
What are the odds we get off here and get Anthony working for you?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
He knows his way around some farm equipment.
I do.
Is that farm animals? I don't know. One
Both.
of the two.
Both. I tend to. I like the like livestock most because I like to eat. So when you raise a cow and you get to eat it at the dinner
But how
table,
about
it's
the
pretty
bison? You look like you'd be a bison.
I
farm.
eat the shit out of some bison.
He did say he's getting bison, Anthony.
He did. Yeah. So if there's anything else you want to add, if not, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know that you're a busy guy, and
We're about to go check out some farm fields is what we're about to do.
Yeah. So good.
I'm good.
All right.
All right. We
Uncle Joey?
appreciate you,
Yeah.
Vaughn. We really
Thank you.
do.
Thank you
good?
very much.
I'm good.
All right. Well, as always, guys, I'm Big Sturge,
I'm Justice League.
And I'm Uncle Joey.
I'm Vaughn.
and we are American
American
Whiskey at Schoolhouse Farms.
And that's Vaughn.
That's fun.
1862.
That's fun.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.